up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Chopping It Up with Paul. This is your boy Paul, and today we're discussing the important topic of the importance of economic security. So let's give a welcome to my guest, Dwight, and we're going to discuss economic security today. This is the man that developed the phrase I used last week called "Balla on a budget." So Dwight, in your opinion, what is the top three main important parts of economic security?
Save.
Saves.
Savings is everything. After you have a savings, before you have that, first have a plan before you start anything. You know what I mean? You can't go anything with it head first. You know, start a plan, have goals, set yourself limitations. After that, set yourself a higher limits. You know what I mean? It's like a branch when you're climbing a tree. When you're a kid, you know, you always want to try to get to the top. It's the same thing in the work field and being successful in life. Just keep climbing and reaching. As long as you reach, there's nobody stopping you.
Yeah, that makes me think of a quote that my mother used to use all the time. It said, when you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you're still gonna hit the stars.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of fits in, doesn't it, with the whole topic of economic security and the importance of saving for later.
Mm-hmm.
But it all has to start with a solid plan, with a solid career path, and beginning that career path. Correct?
Correct. Beginning and starting it. You know, if you have a plan, you know, just like if writing it down helps you, weighs out the pros and the cons, with the things that's going to help you to get to those steps of being successful. All those things like that, advice from other people that you see are successful, you know what I mean? Good role models, good people with good aura around them that will lead you to those good paths in life. That's what you want to be and what you want to strive for.
So what are your viewpoints on 401k accounts and retirement accounts?
Those would be good accounts that everybody that's walking this earth should have if you have a plan. It always goes back to that plan. You know, you can't blame the rich man for being rich. He had a plan on how he got rich or how he wanted to be rich. And then he looked into what else can get him rich. A lot of people don't know about programs that's out there. You know, but 401k sounds great. You know, anything that can draw in interest on money, how can you fail? You know, you just gotta know about the programs, know what you're doing about the programs. And that goes back to, again, seeking and looking for the help that people that are on those same thing that you're looking for in life can lead you to.
So are there programs out there that are kind of financial mentorships or people that can mentor you in more positive ways to gain that economic security that we all seek after?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we find those people?
You know, it's you know, look at ones that first you see that you think that is successful, that's close to you. You know what I mean? That could be anybody. You know, it could be an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Or someone that's in your family that you say like, hey man, I want to be like him, or he's got it going on, or whatever. You know what I mean? What got him there? What was the motivation that got him there? What that he did different that you probably think that, okay, I didn't look at it like that, or I didn't take it as like that. You know what I mean? It's all about that advice and open up your mouth and knowing that if you want it, you gotta go and get it. You know what I mean? And there's ways that a lot of us, you know, we take for granted. You know what I mean? But it's okay. We learn from our mistakes. You know what I mean? If you learn from it, you grow from it, and you move on. It's the same thing as being successful.
So how did you come up with the phrase "baller on a budget"? I mean, what inspired that?
Cause man, you can go anywhere and have $50 in your pocket and walk anywhere and come out of there with 2 pairs of shoes, man, you're doing something right, man. You get more for your money than just spending that $50 on that one pair of shoes or that one pair of shoes and a t-shirt. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, and I still got a couple of dollars in my pocket. I'm winning.
Right, right. Because we all looking to have that extra couple bucks in our pocket.
You know what I'm saying? So you can dress to impress and still be a baller on a budget. You know what I'm saying? You know, somebody just ain't getting a soda pop.
How important is it to have a budget to know, okay, I've got to spend this much, but I've got this much extra available that I can use for things I want? And how important is the wants over the needs?
The wants are always gonna overdo the needs. You know, a cigarette is a need. You know what I'm saying? You know, those are that's into the things that they do. Those are the needs. You know what I'm saying? Alcohol, that is a need. The wants are the things that we must have: food, water, electricity, plumbing. You see them gas if you have cars. If you don't have a bike, you need to get in the tube. So all that costs money. You know.
So living on a budget is very important in this day and age, and developing a budget really isn't that hard.
Developing a budget can develop into success. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a cheapskate about it. Just know what you're doing. If you're going to go in there and say you have a dollar limit, let that be your dollar limit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The extra stuff is the wants. You need the needs.
The needs have to be filled first.
Yes.
Like your rent, your utilities,
Yeah.
things like that. Or if you own your own home,
you can't.
mortgage is kind of like you're renting until you pay that mortgage back.
You can't be in the club knowing that you got rent to pay the next Monday. You in the club on a Friday and a Saturday, and you got rent to pay on Monday.
Believe me, that was the hardest lesson for me to learn personally was, hey, put your needs first, son, and the rest of it'll fall into place. See, I was that person, and it was this man right here that encouraged me. Start living on a budget, Adam, because guess what? You're not going to get anywhere in this world if you don't, because you're always going to be strapped for cash till that debt is paid, or you're going to be homeless.
Or just don't create the debt. If you don't have it, don't spend it. You're spending your check before it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, we all know about that, especially with this whole COVID thing going on and money being tight as it is. A lot of us have had to tighten our belts up, so to speak, in an effort to survive.
mm-hmm.
Because the money's just wasn't there. Like if you were one of those that were still working during this epidemic, we all learned the importance of living on a budget so the needs are paid, and sometimes the wants were left with a little bit of the wants, but your needs were taken care of. And some have just really not used their money wisely during this, and it's not too late to start now. Sit down and develop a budget. And if you don't know how to develop a budget, like I said last week, talk to people that know how to build a budget. I mean, financial people, if you ask, they're going to be willing to give their opinion, correct?
Mm-hmm.
People that are into finances and stuff. I'm not a financial guru. I'm still a student. I'm learning. But I'm learning by watching those around me that know how to handle money. Because I'll tell you, I'm horrible with money. You can ask this man, and you can even ask my wife. I am horrible with money. That's why I don't control the money in my house. Like he says, I have to be a baller on a budget. I have to live on a budget. Because I know a lot of people got a stimulus check, and I know a lot of people didn't. And those of us that didn't get a stimulus check, we had to learn how to survive on the little bit we had. Granted, it was soup and sandwiches most nights. But you know what? We lived. we were fed. And learning how to live on a budget not only opens money up for your debts, to your bills to be paid, those needs that we were talking about, but you may even find that if you break it down weekly, because he was telling me this the other day, break it down weekly. You need to put this much this week into the bank so that you can pay that debt over there off. Like, say, rent is due next week. If you haven't invested towards that rent, you better count on your paycheck going towards that rent.
Mm-hmm.
See, learning to work for the money and not making the money work for you and you not working for the money is the whole point of building a positive, solid career path. And is it not true that it is super important to have a solid career path to be able to start saving for later?
Mm-hmm.
Which next week I'm going to be doing the topic of the importance of restaurant etiquette, and then the week after that I'm planning an episode on building a solid and positive career path. Because it's something that needs to be discussed so that we're not sitting here wondering, okay, you told us these keys, but you really didn't expound enough to tell me how to build a solid career path. Same thing with your finances. Once you have a job, a 9 to 5, something you go to every day to make money, it becomes important at that point to start looking at savings accounts and investing towards those bills that come in without stop. Bills don't know a virus epidemic. They still come in regularly.
Oh yeah.
So in your opinion, and I know I ask a lot about opinions because there's not much in the way of facts on economics, because if I'm not mistaken, economics changes on a regular basis. And the standards thereof, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How does that impact our daily survival to be more economically solid, starting at the bottom of beginning a budget?
You gotta grow. You gotta grow and grow with the change when the change happens. Okay, you can't expect when a change to happen and you try to stay the same and try to make it to work when it change. If the change ain't gonna work with the old. So if you can to learn to evolve and to adapt with your surroundings, there's nothing stopping you in your plans of that path of where you want to be. Nothing. You just got to willing to be able to accept that change. You know what I'm saying? You can't fuss it that it happened or it's happening. You gotta learn to be like, okay, this is what I have to do to change. Maybe not even a lot, maybe just a little.
So change is something you can't be dead set, I'm not going to adjust. It's something that you have to be willing to be flexible on.
Change is something that you just have to understand it when it happens, when you come along that hiccup, along that path. And that's all it is, you know what I'm saying? Are you gonna get up and brush yourself off and just be like, alright, I'll try again later? Or are you gonna recognize it and see what it is that made you fall? See what I'm saying?
And that's a big thing, is realizing when we fall, there's two ways to fall. You can fall on your butt and you're falling backwards. Or you can fall on your face, you're still ahead. You're falling forward. And yeah, it's going to hurt a little bit. But at the same time, it's going to build you into a stronger individual. And see, that's when you're living positively and moving towards economic security, you have to be willing to fall on your face a few times so that you're crawling forward, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And when you fall forward, get up and realize, okay, learn the lesson. Because in every event that happens in your life, economically, socially, anywhere you look in your life, you're going to have falls, failures, and you're going to have successes. But in order to be successful, you have to fail. One of my favorite quotes is, and this was Thomas Edison, the inventor of the filament burning light bulb. He was asked, it took him 1,000 times to invent a successfully working model of the filament burning light bulb. And when he finally built a working model, they said, why after the first few times of you not building a successful model did you not give up? Why did you fail so much? He looked at him and said, I don't view it as much as I failed 1,000 times, 999 times, but I found 999 different ways to do it better, to improve on it. How important is it to improve on your economic status?
Everything. You improving not just that, you improving yourself, your character, your structure. You as a man or a woman, you as a human being. You know, you're taking part on this earth and what you are made here and sitting here to do.
Now, building a positive credit score. I know this is a very touchy subject, but how much of your monthly bills reflect on your credit rating? And how hard is it to get your credit in good standing?
Well, not really. Nothing. You just it's all about budgeting. If you have those extra hobbies, you ain't gonna afford to that extra that can get you out instead of that extra that can do without. You know what I mean? As for example, like if you want to fix your credit, you know, there's a lot of programs out there that can help you fix your credit. But instead of spending that extra money on that extra, you can spend it towards the extra that will help you successfully later on down the line.
And how easy is it to find these assistance programs with your credit?
Man, it's easy. As long as you have a phone, you have the capability of finding these programs. You know, Lexington Law, Credit One. There's a lot of good programs out there that's helping people that can fix your credit, that can help you get it in the homes. Everybody want to be in a home, you know.
Yeah, we all look for the three things that every human being views as a want/need. Mm-hmm. One of our want/needs that is really big is a stable home.
Yes.
But in order to get a stable home that you own, it takes a little hard work on your part, saying no to going out to the club with your friends, mm-hmm, in order to feed your credit.
Especially if you don't have it.
Exactly. Because, let me tell you, not too long ago, I myself, I was at a 0 credit rating. My credit was 0. You know why? I didn't believe in credit. I didn't believe in getting loans. I was too proud to ask for help, basically. Let's boil it down to the root cause of why I didn't grow and develop financially. I was too proud to ask for help. So I just got buried in a mountain of debt and did a couple bankruptcies. And let me tell you something, bankruptcy, the harder, if you don't work hard now, you're really going to have to work hard after a bankruptcy. Because then you have to overcome the hurdle of finances, mm-hmm, in order to even begin to rebuild your credit. Am I right?
Yep.
Because bankruptcy seems like the magic way out. There's nothing magic about it except for the fact the government says, okay, your debt's eradicated. You owe no more debts. But at the same time, your credit score goes right back down to zero. They call it a slim credit file or no credit file. It took me a while to learn these lessons. Your boy now has a 600 credit, has over a 600 credit score. I'm not going to drop the exact number, but it took a lot of hard work and a lot of people in my corner helping me to get there and to teach me how to, like he says, be a baller on a budget. Instead of walking out with that one pair of shoes, yeah, I don't go to Foot Locker and stuff for my shoes. I don't mean to name drop. I'm not, but I go to Plato's Closet or Play It Again Sports for my shoes, clothes, things like that, because it's lower cost, previously used stuff. And you're getting the same name brands, just at reduced cost. See, that's a way of being a ball on a budget, am I not right? That's one avenue of going about it. And don't follow the fads. That will be a source of economic pitfall, right? What can you add to the whole credit thing?
There's a lot of ways you can go by saving money, just by getting certain things. I know it's not safe, but getting things off the internet and saving you money instead of paying that retail price. We don't need that. Spend it if you have it. Don't overspend. Don't go out there and spend if you don't have it. Don't follow the hype. Don't try to impress people. That's a lot of people's problem. Impressing friends or all that. If you don't have it, then you don't have it. If you do have it and you say you don't have it, keep it that way. Keep money put up. There's nothing wrong with saving your money. There's nothing wrong of wanting good things in life and having a goal to getting it.
My mom was a financial success story. She's passed on now. But she taught me a lot of valuable lessons in life. This woman went from living in a low-income home, pushing my little brother and little sister in a little red radio flyer wagon around town, to buying her first car. Yeah, it was a hoopty. But you know what? My mom paid for it in cash that she saved up. And that is important, is seeing the examples. Look at your parents. Most of them. Now, I know there's some parents out there that are not great with money. But if you have good parents that are good with money, watch them. Watch their successes in life. And you'll realize they got where they are by cutting back on the frills. Or what we call the fun stuff. Instead of going out and buying a case of beer, they went out and got a 6-pack of wine coolers. And just chilled at home in the front yard. There wasn't no need to go to the club. Fire up the barbecue grill. No need to go to the restaurant. Go to a restaurant. She fed us on basically scraps. This and that she could get out of the refrigerator, freezer. But she made 5-star quality meals out of them. Sometimes it's not what you have, it's how valuable the life lessons that you carried from these people were. But hey, we're running short on time today. Is there anything you want to tell the people before we conclude the episode?
This is what I want to say to everybody that wants to be successful. Have a plan, have a goal, stick to it. The things that you don't need are your wants. Okay? Your wants. If you can give up some of those wants, watch how much you will save and watch how much you are able to do that you couldn't do. As far as taking a trip, You never know if you cut back a couple of little bad habits or whatever the case may be. If you want to be successful, these are the things that you will have to do in life. That we all will have to do in life. Go out there and get it. Willing to work. Willing to go out there and pull out extra overtime. Willing to go out there and work up a second job if you have to. No matter wherever the cost may be, you got to go out there and get it and be hungry for it. Don't let nothing stop you from getting it.
That is some very sage, wise advice. Thank you so much for being on my show today and for helping these people have a better understanding about economic security. And like we said, the phrase for the day is, and I'm going to quote my guest, be a ball on a budget.
On a budget.
You know? But I'm going to start concluding this episode. Thank you for tuning in. As always, leave a like and a comment if you like the positive content that was on the show today. Leave us a comment. Talk about what part of it you like the most. And if there's something that we didn't hit on enough because of the time constraints, leave a comment. I'm sure I could get him to come back on the show and hit those points more. But one of my other favorite phrases is, a closed mouth don't get fed.
No, it doesn't. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it.
Exactly. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe and share my show with others so we can move this positivity train forward. But, as always,
knowledge.
Be peaceful, be productive, and above all else, be positive.
And safe.
Peace.